Man, am I the only one that's gonna be drinking a beer? Nah.
Dude, that's not even a beer. Get out of here. We're gonna see what's happening. Salem's opinion is on non-alcoholic beers today.
Oh, I know. I just
At that point, just
Is that
drink
you?
water,
Yeah.
dude. It's healthier.
Why do you drink that? Are we recording right now? Or are we gonna wait?
I mean, we can.
start.
It
It's
doesn't
fine.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Why do I drink it? I don't. Do I? Well, I just had a game right now. So, indoor soccer.
Okay.
I just came over here. It was freaking because it was the first
You got-
time we
did
played
you
at
win?
top.
It's just
Wow,
a subject
it
right
was
now.
I was thirsty and I'm like, nah, I don't want water. I want like beer, but I don't like want beer, you know. So I just took the non-alcoholic beer that was in there.
Okay.
This guy's a bad influence, man.
Yeah.
When I tried to stop drinking beer, he was always like inviting me to go out and then like peer pressuring me, and he knows I fold with peer pressure, so I never would last too long. But now you offer him beer, and he gets all upset, man. It's like, how dare you offer
Tables
me
have
beer?
turned.
Yeah.
for reals.
Tables have
But I'm a
turned.
good friend though, so I ask him once, and then I go, okay, you don't
get
want
it.
it? I don't peer pressure.
Like, all right, I'll have two.
I'll have
Fine.
two. Yeah,
Fine.
I'm not mad.
More for me.
Yo.
Yeah, dude. No, for real. Hey, John, do you want to pass me a Kentucky? Por favor. Might
Is
as
that,
well.
is that the best? That's the non-alcoholic beer.
No, that's
place?
an actual beer. Yeah.
Oh, he's switching it up.
Yeah.
Now. He's like, dang, all right.
All right, I'll take one too, John. Please. Do you drink?
I'm good. Right
You
now.
good?
Thank you, man. I'm on this like health journey, trying to.
Oh, yeah?
trying to not be fat. So.
Shoot.
No, yeah, I stopped drinking for like 6 months.
Makes a difference, huh?
Yeah, it makes a difference. 6
Yeah.
months. And I drink here and there, but not like when we were young.
Yeah. Not when you're like 17, 16.
Yeah. No, yeah, no.
Drinking.
I actually didn't start drinking until I was like 21.
Yeah?
Yeah, 20,
Same?
21.
Nah.
No, I started a lot earlier.
He started drinking younger.
Yeah, how old was I? When you started peer pressuring me.
Nah, this gotta be off camera.
What about at your wedding? How did you drink at your wedding?
Oh, yeah.
He was underage. I'm just saying.
Just happens.
Like, it
Sometimes.
just happens, dude.
Happens, yeah.
No comment, John. Come on.
Yeah, we were in high school. We'd have a friend that would just like steal beer from Safeway and like get it half off. And yeah, we just had
Here's a beer
it was like
run?
an
Oh,
unlimited
yeah.
supply of beer. Yeah, it was wild too. He would just like fill up a shopping cart and like run out the side door and like put it in his trunk and take off. It's like, man, you got all of this in one run, and they had to like change what doors were open because they stole so much beer from the stores.
Shoot.
Yeah,
I saw that, well, when I was in high school, there was a market. I won't say what ethnicity, but I'm sure you probably know. And they would sell us beer. So we would just buy them from them.
That's
and
awesome.
They didn't care. But I remember, it was just not that long ago. I think it was Statesman Journal posted no, it wasn't that. It was the Salem crime page. They had posted anonymously that some teens had done a beer run at the 76 on 12th Street.
yeah.
And then a bunch of people were all like, "Oh, why are you guys mad at this? You guys act." Oh, and everybody was saying, "Oh, these I don't even know what they call them now, Gen Zs or whatever." And people were like, "Oh, you guys act like you guys didn't do beer runs when you guys were their age. That's normal. You guys." They're like, "Oh, this is getting out of control." And they're like, "This has always
for
happened. What are you
sure.
guys talking about?"
This is not new at
This
all.
is not new at all.
There's
Yeah.
cameras now. There's social media. That's why. So.
Exactly.
High definition,
Yeah,
son.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how old you guys are, but man, I'm just glad there was no social media.
I was just about to ask.
you.
You didn't have social media because I didn't have social media when I was
Yeah.
growing up.
I did.
You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot easier to get in trouble when everybody's filming everything. You know, like somebody has evidence on their phone somewhere. of
Exactly.
Everything that happens.
But now the type of trouble people can get into, like they can even get fired from their jobs
Yeah.
for certain things they may say or
That you
do
said when
outside
you were in
of
high
work.
school, and it's like 20 years later. Like, what? Like, now I'm getting in trouble for this? Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
person any longer. No. That's real for sure.
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we have the man, the myth, the legend. What's happening? Salem is in the house today, also known as Jacob Espinosa. You've been in the community for a while, verbally on like media. I know you host your own podcast as well.
Yeah.
And I know that has kind of transformed, and you're doing like online kind of video podcast and also local news, which just freaking blew up in the last
Yeah,
couple years.
for sure.
So today we're gonna learn about that. I mean, we're local. We have a lot of local entrepreneurs. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested in knowing how he was able to make this happen. And that's what we're going to get into today, man. So we appreciate you coming on, and we're excited to have you on.
Nah, thank you, man. This is an awesome setup. I love what you guys are doing. I think we just need more people recognizing and highlighting the good work that's happening in Salem. So it's just fun, like how much just people are having fun with local media, sharing stories, just having a good time connecting and building community. You know, I think that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
We agree with that 100%. And that was kind of like why we started this, because we know there's so much talent in our community. We're like, people just don't know what we have in our community. What we love about what you do is that you really took it local. Like, you're doing like local news, what new businesses are opening up, which businesses are closing, just things that are happening within the city.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what your opinion is on charging for parking. I know that's a hot topic.
Big one right now. Yeah,
the biggest topic in town.
People are passionate. There's that and that sign that just went up in North Salem.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask
with
you
the
about that. I
typo.
saw that.
Dang.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But another thing too is just the love that you have for the city. It really grinds my gears when people that are not from here have like a really strong opinion on why Salem is shitty.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, Salem is great.
Yeah.
You guys don't. We've had some people that are out of town, and they literally tell us we haven't been in Salem for like 20 years, and like this was the only reason why they came into Salem. But they have very strong opinions on what's happening in Salem.
Coming for your podcast was why they came to Salem?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome, man. I
Yeah,
love
from
that.
like the Portland area, mostly.
That's great.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll start off with asking where you were raised and where you're from.
Yeah,
and
I'm
go from there.
I'm from Salem. Went to Scott Elementary, went to Adam Stevens, McNary, then went to U of O and moved back to Salem, started a family.
Oh dang, dude, we're gonna beef already, dude.
Let's go.
I went to Waldo.
Okay.
And just so people know,
And to McKay, right?
I was
Waldo
in
McKay.
the lightweight football team, and we won.
Let's go.
My 8th grade year.
Let's
So
go. That's a big deal, man.
It is a big deal. I
Yeah,
mean,
because you scored the winning touchdown too, like at the.
No.
not quite. Okay, okay.
I know. I probably looked at the like the scoring touchdown type, but I wasn't. I was actually
Not at the time, okay.
really strong back then, and
Okay,
I was a center. I was a
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's
So,
an important role, though, yeah.
Damn right it is.
Yeah,
You know.
That's awesome.
Shit.
It's a
You didn't
big
play
win.
football, did you?
I did play. I played for Stevens, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never played football. They wanted football players. I went in. I was expecting. I thought we were just gonna play. I play soccer, so I thought we were gonna play for 45 minutes. But every time the ball dropped, you gotta have to reset, new play. I mean, I didn't get tired. It was like, oh, I want to get tired. I want to like run.
Yeah.
I tried it, and then I decided not to do it no more.
You just didn't get physical enough, dude. Because we got physical.
Maybe.
I didn't play football either.
Oh, you didn't?
So my dad, he had a bad knee injury playing football. He was a kicker and like was really good. He kicked a 56-yard field goal, semi-pro. Like it's like legendary stuff. He tells everybody about it. I'm proud of him for it for sure. But he in high school he had a bad knee injury, and so every year football signups would come up and be, oh, we missed it next year. Oh, I forgot. Next year we'll do it. And then eventually it's like, all right, I'm just not gonna play football. But
Damn.
yeah, so we did soccer, track, and basketball.
Soccer, track, and basketball.
Yeah.
I did track and cross country throughout grade school. I actually went to, you said you went to Scott, right?
Yeah.
I went to Scott too.
Did you really? Let's go. I grew up on Indiana Avenue.
Oh, you grew up, okay.
Yeah,
I grew
yeah.
up
that was
off
you.
Of, I grew up,
That was you. I remember you now.
I grew up off Rodeo.
Okay.
Hollywood and Rodeo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regal Eagles.
I used
Holding it
to.
down.
That's right. Out here rapping.
I used to play.
doing big things.
We made it now.
I used to play at soccer. Just with my friends. We used to like we lived by the Hayesville area.
Yeah.
We ride bikes, go all the way to Scott.
They have the
Soccer.
worst soccer field.
They
man.
do.
It's so
Yeah,
bumpy.
even
It
now.
was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about now.
I
been there
remember I
years.
was there when they got their new like poles, like back. This is a long time ago. I remember it was a big deal.
Their tetherball poles or what?
They're the soccer goals, like that.
Oh,
but it was just like the post.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
just a
pole
post,
things,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was a big deal when they got them because we were always playing soccer at recess, and then when they got their track too, I remember like we did this like parade of all the kids. We walked around the track when we got it, but yeah, now it's not such great quality, huh?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not. But yeah, I haven't been there in like probably years, dude. But
Dude, it's been at least 15, 20 years.
Yeah, but I going back to the school, I did go to Stevens, I did go to McKay, but I ended up in McNary as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
They kind of moved the district. I moved from Indiana to the Jan Ray area,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
and it was like right there. Like they changed we moved like a mile away, and it ended up being in McNary district.
Oh, I see. Because I lived in the Hayesville area, like around Hayesville.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I did go to McKay, and then I moved to Kaiser, which I transferred to McNary
Nice.
eventually. So
There we go.
Dang. So, how long have you been in media?
I've been like making content forever. Like I've always been like a social media person. Like when MySpace came out, I was like learning how to HTML and like updating my profile. In my 20s, so I went to school at U of O, studied journalism. So that's a lot of my background. In my 20s, I pursued a career as a rapper. And so I was like touring and I was like figuring out how to market and make flyers and just create content that I thought was engaging online. And then fast forward about 10 years, I was a leadership consultant at T-Mobile. And I started making a lot of content about leadership development on Twitter was the first platform I really built an audience. And through that, I was discovered by a team in Austin, Texas, Work Week. And I built a leadership newsletter while I was with them. So we had a newsletter, the podcast, and an Instagram page about it was called Leaders Lens was the brand. And while I was there, I realized like, man, this model would fit really well for local media. And so I was kind of telling other people about it, and nobody did it. So I finally was like, I'll just make it happen, and it just kind of took off.
How long ago did you start
A
your
year.
own thing? Oh, it's been a year.
Yeah. So what's happening in Salem started about a year ago.
But the podcast and stuff, that was previous to what's happening in Salem.
So I've done a few different podcasts. So like when I started, when I became a leadership consultant at T-Mobile, I started doing some business coaching on the side as well. And I started a podcast called New Leader Workshop, where we interviewed business owners, kind of similar to this vibe. And that was, probably 10 years ago. It was like my first like podcast that we put out, and we put it on Facebook, and I would do like a $20 promoted post. And at that time, not a lot of people would do it. So you got a pretty decent sized audience. Like a lot of people noticed it, and people started to know who I was, which was cool. And then Leaders Lens and that podcast was probably 3 or 4 years ago. But then what's happening in Salem about a year ago. So it's just been kind of different evolutions.
God, dude, a lot of people came from T-Mobile, man. They must have been doing good things there.
I think the data is like 6% of Salem has worked at T-Mobile at one point or another. Because like the attrition is kind of crazy. Like people come and go, and like there's just a lot of jobs, like 500 jobs at one point. I think
because of the call center too, right?
yeah, call center, but then retail.
Hundreds of people there for sure.
Yeah.
There we go. We're ops again. We worked for Verizon for like 10 plus years, man.
Well, yeah, you had Pedro on the podcast.
Yeah. He was T-Mobile too.
Yeah,
T-Mobile.
That's my guy. I like Pedro a lot.
Pedro, Josue, worked at T-Mobile for a long time.
Yeah.
I know him I met him a little bit in retail. I don't know Jose super well, but he was at the Lancaster store. I managed the store downtown for like a year.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Ricardo worked at T-Mobile too.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, for a while.
All the legends. you
Yeah,
know?
man, all the legends.
You guys worked at Verizon though? Mm-hmm. How was that? Were they a pretty good employer?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We did it for a long time. How many years did you do?
10.
10
Yeah.
years? Yeah, I think I did like 8, almost 9 years.
I was like 13 years at T-Mobile. Yeah,
13?
call center. Then went to retail, then back to the call center. But yeah, good experience, good benefits. I miss the benefits, man.
Yeah.
Dang,
I was-
being self-employed now, my health insurance. I'm like, what's the copay? I didn't have that at T-Mobile.
Yeah.
You
You should just be able to go in and say, "I'm what's happening in Salem."
Exactly. Yeah,
If it
for
weren't
sure.
for me,
Exactly.
you guys
None of
wouldn't-
you would exist.
you guys wouldn't know Macy's closed down 4 months ago.
You wouldn't know what that building's gonna be.
Oh, you know?
Oh no. Oh, there's like rumors. Nothing's like official yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
What's the rumor?
It's gonna be fun, man. They got a lot of interest in that space, and I think it'll be a place that you'll bring your kids and have fun things to do. So it's gonna be cool. They have a lot of interest in that space. They're just like figuring out how to like build it because there's like multiple people that are interested that can be there at the same time. So, but I don't know. I'm excited for that.
I feel like that's what they tried doing at the Lloyd Center, but it didn't work out for them.
Doing what?
Like they had a lot of spaces for kids. They had a gym at one point, and then they had like a kids club kind of thing where the kids would like go in. I'm assuming it was kind of like the Boys and Girls Club kind of thing, but that didn't work out too well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they're trying to do something like that here.
It'll be different than that. It's not gonna make a Boys and Girls Club. I'm excited for it.
Like a Dave and Buster's?
That'd be sick, right?
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
that'd be
sick.
real
We
cool.
don't have to go to Clackamas.
For sure. We need it. I think we need something like that downtown, like a stable that's going to bring excitement and bring people around. because I think I'm optimistic on Salem Center's future. You got this huge space indoors. It rains like 9 months out of the year in Salem. I think they'll find the right recipe that'll just make it exciting, and you'll have lots of things to do there.
Well, not downtown, but I mean, we have the new Wonderland. I thought that was pretty cool.
They did a great job with it.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be. I think that's like the first thing in a really long time that is actually gonna attract people from other cities to come out here.
And was that the original Wonderland that was in Hawthorne?
Yeah, they moved.
So that's them. They
completely
moved over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like they did a good job with the go-karts. Like, it doesn't look big when you like are looking at it, but when you're on it, the ride, and there's like 2 levels. They did a good job with it, man. It's a lot of fun.
Dang, I haven't gone
I
yet.
haven't either.
You
I'm
check
just.
that out.
I keep hearing long lines. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let it settle down,
Yeah.
and probably go a little bit later.
Getting in is tough. Like you have to kind of get there early to beat the rush. But once you're in, it's fun.
You have to be what's happening Salem
Yeah.
VIP, man.
Yeah,
Hey, maybe we can name drop now. Hey, our boy.
You know who I know.
You know who I
right?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
Heck yeah. Well, so one of my questions is, so you started with podcasting and then you started with like local news. How did this all evolve? Because now you're talking about businesses. You're talking about today you posted about the Salem sign.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's evolved, but tell us about the process of like how you evolved.
Yeah, it's
in the
just
last
trying,
year.
man, seeing what works. So one of my original ideas was like, I'm just going to interview people from Salem, and we'll ask like 5 questions in 30 seconds, and hopefully people like will be in the comments like giving their answers. And so I did a few of those, and it just didn't work at all. I tried a few other things. I did a few memes that did well, but the first post I did that really took off, it was about the dollar distribution center that's off by Amazon, the warehouse. And it was just like, did you hear what this building is going to be? And the green screen, and then I would kind of like talk about on the map how to get there, and then I said what it was, and that was the first one that just got like thousands and thousands of shares. So when that hit, I was like, all right, do more of this type of post, right? And so it was just kind of like multiple iterations of trying things, seeing what worked, and then now I'm at a place where people are telling me what's happening. Like they'll ask me, hey, what's going here? And so when I see like 5 or 7 people sending me a DM with a question, I'm like, all right, people are curious about this. Let me do a post about it. So now it's easier to figure out what people are interested in because they'll tell me, because I do have an audience. But at first it was a lot of just like trying things out or just like being aware on Facebook what people are talking about.
You called it a green screen, right? That's
Yeah.
when your face is kind of like in the background.
Yeah.
You created something there. I think
Nah.
I think after you started posting yourself on the green screen, like even my mom started using
Let's
green screen. I'm like,
go.
yo, what's going on? What's going on here? Everybody's
hilarious.
doing that now.
Yeah. No, it's definitely was not a style I invented.
I'm not
but
saying you invented it, but
I think I brought awareness in Salem to like,
Yeah.
hey, this works. And I think anytime you're doing something that works, other people are going to emulate it, and it's just kind of part of the process. So, I think right now, like we're in a good spot where we just have like the biggest audience in Salem, but it's not going to always stay that way unless we like keep trying stuff out and like staying humble and like not thinking that it's about me. Like if my perspective is always like, hey, I'm doing this for Salem, I'm doing this for the people of Salem, and I have like just an ear to what's going on and what people are interested in, and I'm more focused on what's important to them than what's important to me, it's going to be tough to lose.
for sure.
But I think once I like let ego take over and I'm like, all right, like I got my own agendas, people kind of like notice that a little bit. And even with sponsorships, like we have great partners, and I really have to balance like the amount of posts that I'm doing that are sponsored versus just me shouting out Salem, and even how I'm doing the sponsored posts, because if it just feels like an ad, it doesn't work for the sponsor, it doesn't work for the audience. So I'm really working right now on like how do we make it feel just entertaining. With the partners working with us, how is it just another fun post that is fun for the audience to see, but also worked for the sponsor because people are engaging with the post.
For sure. So even though like us being born and raised in like Salem, we probably think Salem's not that big. There's still a lot of news and things that are going on a daily basis. So how do you categorize what is? I don't know if worth posting is the right way to say it, but like how do you figure out what you think will work and what won't?
Some of it's just intuition, just understanding. I've been part of lots of different conversations. So like through just growing up and like making music, I was like aware of conversations that were happening with like a certain corner of Salem. And then I worked for the Chamber of Commerce for a year, so I was aware of a lot of the conversations that were happening over there. And I think something I've always been good at is connecting the dots between things that are, for other people, maybe seem like they're distant, but for me, I can kind of like see how things are connected. So I try to really focus on, like, if I hear a conversation, like, how is this important to the story of Salem? So there is some intuition there, but then there's sometimes it's just if I see a post on, like, if Statesman Journal posts an article and I see there's tons and tons of comments about it and people are interested in this, then I'll know, like, all right, I should talk about this topic because a lot of people are interested in it.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea to use
Next, contact me and you talking about the Salem sign.
on a green screen.
I mean, like, honestly, like, if you see something going crazy that works for your audience, it's just a matter of, all right, what's my unique perspective on this? So if you did another post that was like, did you guys know Capitol buildings are with the O, Capitol cities are with the A? Like, I just did that post. Like, doing the same was not going to do as well. But if you had like a unique perspective on, like, here's something that people aren't talking about this topic people are interested in, I think that's where it can work pretty well.
Talking about the Salem sign, because I looked at it while I was looking. Maybe I was driving allegedly.
Yeah.
So I am ESL. English is my second language, so I looked at it like 5-6 times, and I couldn't find the misspelling.
Yeah.
But I allegedly I was driving.
Yeah.
But what I was more amazed by was that they spent $78,000 on that sign.
It's a lot of money, right?
Dude, we should make signs for a freaking living.
I'm
dude.
trying to figure out. I reached out to a couple people I know at the city and just trying to get a breakdown of, like, where did this money go? Because, like,
It's like gold plated.
yeah, who knows, man? Who knows what's.
So this
in
is
that
an
sign.
actual typo?
It's like the Fountain of Youth.
Well,
on the
what's
sign
the
or
typo?
something.
Because
So it's Capitol with an O, and so if you're a Capitol
Oh,
building,
I see.
like the Capitol building would be with an O, but Capital City would be with an A, and so they use the wrong form of capital.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
God, dude, it must have been someone like me creating the sign, dude.
must
But
have
hey, can't hate the game, dude. You made $78,000.
Somebody did, yeah. I wonder who, like, how that money was dispersed, and, like, how much of it was just bureaucracy of, I don't know. I'm curious, like, where that money goes. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
You need to have Elon Musk investigate where all these Salem funds
It's
are going.
tough,
man.
man, because, like, we just passed the levy, right? And I was a big supporter. I was like, yeah, we got to keep these things. Like, the library is important, and, like, taking care of our parks is important. But then something like this comes out, and there's this, like, signal of, like, man, that was really inefficient use of money. It is like, I don't know. Hopefully, and the decision to do that was made so long ago that, like, our current city council wasn't really responsible for it. And I think our current city council is doing a good job. But it is something we need to be aware of. And I think that's one of the important pieces of media is holding our elected officials accountable and making sure people in Salem understand, like, what decisions are being made while they can still have an impact. Because now it's too late to do anything about the sign. It's already up. The money's already paid for.
No returns?
Exactly. There's no returns.
14 days?
They said no 14 days return. They said we can get a store credit, but we can't get our cash back. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that you had said the decision making in this happened several years ago.
Yeah.
So just letting people know not to blame the people that are in
Yeah.
charge now. And I was like, damn, 2-3 years ago, was that when everybody got their stimmy checks? So
It
I mean,
was,
Oregon
yeah.
got the stimmy check and just blew it on a sign, man.
Salem,
$78K, man.
They probably everybody had a lot more money 3 years ago than they do now. So it's, yeah,
We were
for sure.
blowing money on everything, man.
Totally.
Even the city.
Yeah, somebody was just like signing checks, not even looking what they were for. Who knows?
Before Elon was in charge, man.
Elon came and just
Damn.
yeah. No more
They got
fun.
rid of that pen.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to sell the pen. It's a fundraiser.
Damn. So, if someone's opening up a new business in town, it could be a restaurant or wherever it may be. Is it something that you have to find interesting, or can people just reach out to you and be like, "Hey"? Because I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
obviously you can't do everything. Because I
Yeah.
mean,
we need to do a better job of having a better system. Because right now it's like, all right, what DM did I get today? Now that I have an hour to, like, go make a video about. And there are some things I definitely, like, have on a list. Like, all right, I want to do a video about this. This is coming out. But there are a lot of things that, like, I want to make content about, but I just run out of time, or I just forget. To be honest, you know.
do
And
you
then
charge?
we do some sponsorships for sure, but it's a really small percentage.
Is that what you would consider a sponsorship? So if someone opened up a business and they wanted you to do a quick story on it, you would consider that
We
a
would be
sponsorship?
open to, like, talking about potential sponsorships, but, like, I don't charge restaurants generally because they're just, they're not making huge margins off. Like a lot of people are just trying to stay open right now. You know what I mean? So like, I'm trying to remember the last time. Like sometimes like offer a meal for free and like I'll accept it, but I'll never ask for like, hey, I'll do a post if you give me free food because I'm not like a beggar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, I mean,
I'm
but-
just more
but
about
still,
trying
I
to
mean,
highlight the place.
To
Yeah.
a certain point, I don't know if you do this full time for a living, but I mean, if you do, I mean, you have to make a living for
Yeah.
it. And then even, I mean, with the reach that you have now, I mean, everybody's gonna want you to do a post on whatever
Yeah.
businesses they have. So I mean,
Yeah.
you can't.
I think
be
there
able to
is
do everything.
And I think I've like through trial and error, I've definitely learned. Like I think I'm finding a pretty good lane right now. So one, we have Advantage Heating and Air Conditioning, who's our title sponsor, and so like we blast them on every newsletter before our podcast. We try to shout them out often on our Instagram, and then we launched a what's called the What's Happening Salem Business Collective, and so it's a group of currently 8 businesses that pay a certain amount of money a month, and then they get exposure on Instagram, exposure on the newsletter. And so it's because of these sponsors that we can do a lot of the free stuff where I'm not really chasing another like $200 check or another $1,000 like Instagram reel sponsorship. It's just like, we got this money coming in. I'm going to show them love and make sure that, you know, they feel supported. And then the rest of the time I can really focus, instead of like trying to find another sponsor, I can just focus on making good content.
And then you do everything. You do your own content, everything like the edits and stuff like that.
So we have
audio, or-
I have an editor for the podcast that will help out with some of the reels, but most of it is me editing it just on CapCut. And then I have my guy Ernie does the newsletter. He's our first part-time employee. Like we got health insurance for him, which is I'm just like super proud. You know what I mean? We can offer those sort of benefits. And so, but yeah, it's a pretty small team.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you were getting started and you would tell people like what your idea was, what was the most common answer people would give you?
A lot of people would tell me like why the idea didn't work, or like, hey, these people tried it and like it just doesn't really work. I think that I was more focused on making engaging. I think I had more experience in making content in general, and so I knew how to make content that was engaging and would keep someone's attention. And so now that, and the other piece I think is important is just that has helped me at least is that newspapers don't really focus on social media as much because it's not their business model. You know, they want you on their site. A lot of the content's behind paywalls because like they're a subscription-based service. So I completely get it, but it does also open the door to like put content in front of people, keeping them informed where they already are, which is on Instagram. Because people don't want to search for information now; they kind of expect it to find them. You know.
True.
And so we've taken advantage of that and just found a way to make content that works well for the platform. And I think right now you have to be in a place, if you're making content, that like entertainment is first and the information, like try to sneak it in there when you can, really. You know what I mean? Because if you have a 2-minute clip about a certain topic, like nobody's watching it, you know? Like they're going to scroll past it the first 3 seconds. Like you have to pretty much just show the action scene and try to sneak a little bit of information in there.
Yeah, I think everyone's in social media distress or just kind of, you know,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, to get entertained, not to,
Yeah.
you know, get news and stuff like that. I mean, maybe some people, but
Yeah.
for the most part. You said that you come with the background of doing a lot of content, which is what's funny is that me and Alan never did any content, huh? We never did anything. We were never on social media. We were on social media just scrolling down, but we
Yeah.
never did anything, which is when we started the podcast, 2 years ago or almost 3? This
Dang,
December.
Good job, man. 3 years, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
we just had to learn everything, and we're still learning just
Yeah.
because you know it's like you said, it's so much.
I think 85% of people that do podcasts, they do 3 episodes and quit. You know what I mean? And then to make it past like 15, it's like your top 95% of podcasters. So the fact you're doing it for 3 years is significant,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it gets harder as time goes.
Yeah.
I thought it'd get easier, but I feel like it's getting harder.
Just like what's like the, is it just like the want to do it, or like what do you feel?
No,
like
not the
challenging?
want to do it, but it's just finding people that will show up.
Yeah.
I guess is the biggest part because a lot of people get really excited and they say yes, and then when it comes down to it, like something happens the morning
Yeah.
of, and
Yeah.
it's just really hard because at a point we were doing an episode a week. We were busting out an episode a week, and we were posting an episode
Yeah.
a week. But then there was like 2 months where like 3 or 4 people in a row like just like canceled.
Yeah.
and then rescheduled and then canceled again, and it just is really frustrating. But it's just little things that we're learning and trying to maneuver.
Yeah.
But we still like it. I mean, we think it's fun, and yeah. I mean, we're gonna keep it going.
I love it. What's the goal for it? Just have fun.
Have fun.
Is it marketing for your business a little bit as well, right? And
That's the goal.
yeah,
I think that as the social media presence grows, I think it just helps us individually as well.
yeah,
So
yeah. I love it, man. Yeah, growing a podcast is hard. It is like one of the most challenging platforms to grow. But I think where you get a lot of value is like the social media clips you can get out of it. And I think even just the networking. Like I've had a lot of great opportunities that would come to me through previous podcasts I've done, even though the podcast didn't have a great reach, but I had like the right guest on that we just connected and it led to a cool opportunity. And I think that's one of the the unspoken benefits of podcasting is just the people you can meet.
I agree. I think that's what it is. It's the networking, right?
Yeah.
It's behind the camera and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
yeah, because at the beginning, a lot of people they just didn't think that having just random entrepreneurs would work. But people that tried focusing on a niche, I guess it ends up being harder to find guests.
Yeah.
And we just have people that we find interesting. And not surprisingly, but everybody that comes in, if we find them interesting, we just end up having like a really good episode.
You should do like all Scott School. Like this is the podcast focus on Scott
I'm
School.
about to have
alumni.
my fifth grade teacher back on.
For sure. Mr. Oh man, what was my fourth grade teacher's name? I can't even remember. Mr. Jameson, my fourth grade teacher.
Jameson.
Yeah.
He was I was his last. He retired after our year.
Oh,
He was this big guy, looked like a bulldog. But was a nice teacher, but he was like you remembered him if you were in his class.
I think my fifth grade teacher, I think her name was Miss Fories. Fories, I think that's what it was called.
yeah, I don't even remember who my fourth grade teacher was.
Do you remember what we had for breakfast yesterday?
I know. Who was it? Oh, Miss Wilson.
Miss Wilson? That's an easy name to remember, dude.
You might be lying.
I think you're lying.
I actually went to
Like looking at a basketball.
Washington Elementary in Woodburn.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Woodburn, my elementary, Washington. So, Mrs. Wilson, she's probably, I mean, she was a little bit older back then.
Do you have a teacher that you remember that you were really fond of, either elementary, middle, or high school?
I don't know. I just don't really remember those days too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know for whatever reason. It was always daydreaming. I was big on math as a kid. I'm trying to think of like a math teacher that had an impact in my life.
Yeah,
But
I don't remember.
yeah, like I think at college is where I think of teachers that were more impactful. Like Kelly Matthews at U of O, she's a PR teacher and she's somebody I will stay in contact with and like we'll bounce ideas off of sometimes, which is super cool.
Nice.
So yeah.
You said you used MySpace. Did you use MySpace?
Man.
Were you part of the MySpace crew? or
Yo,
no? You
I
did?
had a top 10.
Top 10.
I think I narrowed it down to top 8. I don't remember if I ever did top 5. But you know how you were able to kind of
Like
Yeah.
you adjust the code,
adjust?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what was your? Do you guys remember your background
song?
music? Yeah, theme song.
Well, I
One
was making music at the time, and so I had an artist profile. And my first like viral moment was a song called "Oregon Homeboy" that I put out, and like it was like the only song about Oregon. So people would see it that were from Oregon, they make it their profile song.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And like the views just went crazy because all my songs were like 500 views, maybe 1,000. You know what I mean? If I got to 1,000, I was feeling pretty good about it. This one like 250,000 in like a month. And I was like, I thought because my dad has always been super supportive. I thought he like found some way to like hack the thing or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, Dad, like, do you do something? But like, then I would find out people would just like put it as their profile song. And so I would do shows and I would do the song. And they're like, is that your song? Like, because they knew the song, they didn't know who I was. But yeah, MySpace was cool for that.
What was your rapper name?
The Kid SB.
The Kid SB.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took like all my music off of everything.
Why?
I think that song still lives. Man, having kids and like I just didn't want them to hear like certain messages, you know, like it wasn't like too wild or anything, but like I don't know, I'm rapping about partying and stuff, you know what I mean? So I didn't really want them to like have that impression of their dad. And now they're at the age where they're on Spotify and like they'll find one of my songs that was like a guest on somebody else's or like Oregon Homeboy is like one of the only songs that still is on there. And they'll like listen to it and like learn it. So I'm like, man, I'm glad I took all their stuff. Yeah.
You're making me feel like I need to go scrub through my social media now.
Damn.
Yeah, there was one time I did go back, like try to log into my MySpace account, just like what's on here, like delete, but it was already all gone, so I was fine.
Have you tried logging back into your MySpace?
I did, bro. That was like probably like 4 years ago, and I think it was just for the pictures. I think I was able to just get my pictures, and
Nice.
that was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
I tried. I don't think I had access to it because of the. I don't think I had the email anymore.
I don't even remember. And you know what's funny too? I didn't even have a computer when I had MySpace. I would have to go to the library.
That's
growing up. Growing up, I would go to because I lived in the Hatesville area.
Yeah.
So I would go to Chemeketa, use the
Yeah.
computer. But everybody did that back then,
Yeah,
though.
for sure.
Everybody was at the
Yeah.
computer lab.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I had a computer in 5th grade, and I used to charge people to make their MySpace.
Bro, that's wild.
Yeah.
How much would people pay? What was the going rate?
The going rate was $20.
For like how long?
And then if someone pissed me off, because I would use my email as like a recovery password, I
Yeah.
would change the password on them.
So you set up their page for them.
Yeah, I would set the whole page for them.
That's a
I was a photographer. I'd take that.
That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah, man.
That's
That
the
was,
entrepreneurial spirit
damn-
right
damn
there,
right, dude.
man. Yes, I love that.
that's what Verizon got from me.
No, like that was so when I was making music, I where I would make most of my money is like doing flyers and CD covers. 'Cause I was doing graphic design as part of like my when I was in school, and so I was on Photoshop playing around all the time. And how I made money was like doing covers and flyers for artists that I was making music with, because nobody was like paying for music like that. You know?
Yeah.
But I think
Okay.
that is. I don't even know why I just told you that. I'm not sure what the connection was, but it's ADHD podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, we all got it, man. That's what Lamb did to us. Not Lamb.
Scott.
Scott. That's what Scott did to us, dude.
Elementary.
They need
Scott
to-
Elementary.
Yeah, they need to do some research on that. What percentage?
My
of
daughter
kids-
is gonna go to Lamb. That's why we had not parent conference. We had a what do you call it?
Like where you get to like meet or like get to know the
Orientation.
school,
We had
something like that?
orientation yesterday, so I had the Lamb name in my head.
Okay, yeah.
Middle
She's
school.
not.
Is that middle
no,
school?
no, elementary.
Oh, damn.
Elementary.
That's the one by the fire department, right?
yeah.
Corden.
Yo.
Oh, shout out Lamb.
Shout out to Lamb. Talking about that, dude. Dude, they get 2 recesses now.
Two? I got two. I feel like
You got 2?
elementary school. One before lunch, one after lunch, right?
I think you're confusing middle school
Dude, you don't get recess in middle
or lunch.
school.
Lunch. I mean,
We had lunch, then recess after lunch. Maybe 3. I feel like there was like a third one in
Dude,
there.
There's
as
no
well.
way you had
Yeah, it was
3
morning.
recesses.
There was
it
like-
was lunch,
there's
recess
no
after
way.
lunch, and then afternoon recess.
dude, you had
Yeah.
like 2 or 3.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't. You had 1 half-hour recess.
Dude, I don't know where you going to school.
Dude,
you
I
didn't go
will-
to Scott.
I will bet you money right now.
You were
dude.
you probably got in trouble, so you were like,
I did get in trouble, but the lunch detentions didn't start till middle school.
That's what it
okay.
was.
No, dude, we had 1 recess.
No,
You guys got to tell us. It's 1 recess, 30 minutes.
Nah, dude.
They're in the comments right now, like, bro,
No.
They're like, dude, no.
bruh.
You had 2 or 3 recesses.
We did
dude.
not have 2 or 3 recesses. You guys are crazy.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
Huh?
we all did. Yeah, everybody did.
So when you meet people that are not from Salem, what's the weirdest things people have said to you that you're like, why would you think that about Salem or
A lot about like the witches, right? Like you have witches
do you
in
think it's
Salem.
Man-
And it's-
Massachusetts?
They're thinking of that one for sure. That one a lot. I'm not sure other than that. I usually get questions from people in Salem. There aren't a lot of people outside of Salem that are asking me. When I get questions outside of it, it's usually like advice. Like, hey, I'm coming. Where should I go to eat? Or like, what's something I should do while I'm there? Not really weird questions.
Do you get a lot of DMs? Like, for
Yeah.
example, let's say just in a regular day.
It just depends on like the content that went out that day. Because sometimes people will have questions about something, or if like something's coming up. But I don't know, probably 20 a day. Like
Okay,
be
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
regular.
Yeah, yeah.
But then if I do like a story that gets a lot of attention, that's when it will go up a lot. I'll get a lot of engagement on like the questions when I ask like ask me anything, or like I did one yesterday that was like what questions do you have about downtown, and like those I'll get a ton of engagement, which is super cool because I was like my leadership page I used to have. I used to like try to figure out how to get people to interact, and nobody ever would.
Yeah.
And so it's cool now to have something that people want to like join the conversation.
That's an interesting question. What do you think the most interesting question you got about downtown?
The most interesting question I got about downtown. A lot of questions about the parking, which isn't super interesting. A lot of people want to know what Salem Center is going to do, and like what's going in Macy's is a pretty popular one I get now. So hopefully we'll be able to like have official news to announce. It'd be cool. And then a lot of people ask about like what's happening with the homeless downtown, and I'll usually send them a link to the documentary we made on it because I feel like we talked a lot about it in there. But yeah, I think those are the most common. I'm trying to think of an interesting one that stood out, but nothing's coming to mind.
Nothing really.
Did you get a lot of DMs with the that one post you did about what's that steakhouse right here? Rudy's.
Yeah, and then I'll get a lot of because they were doing something, a delivery service or something for a little bit. They tried to, but I didn't really understand it. They're asking me to like post about it, but I was like, I don't even know like really what you want me to post. So I think that's something that sometimes people send me like really vague information, like, hey, will you talk about this? I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying, so I don't know how you want me to talk about it, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people got pissed off about that. That those guys were like trying to do their own thing to like make a living.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, why would you guys get mad? They're just trying to like
for sure. That's interesting.
trying to get through, you know?
Yeah, people like getting mad about things.
Yeah.
It's like a pastime, especially. And I think what happens is on social media, the people that are angry are like the loudest, right? Because if you like something, you see a post, you like it, you hit the like button, you keep moving with your life, right? But if you don't like it, then you're like, "Brada," like all caps yelling in the comments. So if you're just scrolling, it appears as though everybody hates this idea, but really it's like 5 people that were mad about it. Everybody else was either neutral or liked it, and like, but like the silent, majority or minority is like really takes
that's
over,
true because a lot of times they have a really strong opinion and all they want to do is like get it out there.
Yeah.
But that's the
Keyboard warriors, dude.
Yeah.
He thinks that word is funny, keyboard warriors.
I've never heard of it until like a month ago.
Yeah.
I was like keyword warriors. I was like, what is that? I've never heard of that.
It's a thing for sure. So
Yeah.
people that like stay online and just stay mad all the time. It's like, bro, if this is what's happening when you're scrolling, just stop scrolling.
Yeah.
Just put the phone away, go outside. It's sunny out right now. Like, just go look at a tree, grow or something. Like,
True. Yeah.
just take a
that's
deep
what it
breath.
is.
Nothing is as serious as you are making this thing right now, for sure. But I think that like it's just I think it's what happens when like we're just like feeding ourselves dopamine through social media all the time, and people are just lonely right now. You know what I mean? Like working from home, you order Uber Eats, you watch Netflix for entertainment. And like you're scrolling online, and like you don't have to connect with anybody if you don't want to. And I think that's a super damaging way to be. And I think like the next step of how we interact is going to be taking away social media, and it'll be like getting back in rooms together, joining clubs, doing things together. And that's something that we really want to be part of what's happening in Salem.
Okay. Yeah.
So working at T-Mobile, because I mean, like I said, we worked in cell phone stores as well. You're interacting with like a bunch of people throughout the day. You obviously have a bunch of coworkers that you're working with throughout the day, so you're used to that kind of environment.
Yeah.
How do you feel about working for yourself now? Like you don't have the same interactions. I mean, yes, you can go out and do a story with someone, but you don't have the same camaraderie.
Totally.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I had good friends at T-Mobile while I was there for sure, and I think just like so I was there like right before COVID, and so I was in a place where it was like 500 people around me I could interact with, to being like at home on a computer, and that was super tough for sure. And a lot of what I do now is working from home. If I'm like working on the newsletter or doing content, even a lot of times it's just green screen. But I'm out and like meeting people and interacting often, so I think that kind of helps balance it out for sure. But it is definitely a lot different, like going from the corporate environment where you're like, you have like set goals for yourself. You have a lot of information you can use to make informed decisions, to building your own business where you're kind of like building the plane while it's flying, and you have to like trust yourself just to figure things out. And for me, it's exciting, to kind of be in that place and challenge myself. But I also do some business coaching as well. It's awesome to help other people in that same type of lane where like they might be uncertain of a certain decision, but you just have to learn to like put yourself in it and trust you're going to figure it out once you get there, because usually you will.
Do you ever make a video and then just kind of like dread working on that video?
Not really. I mean, like making a video takes like 20 minutes, so like I don't have time to dread it. Usually, I'm like, this is a cool idea. I try to make the video while I'm feeling excited about the idea, also, because I think like social media and like content creation in general is just like energy transfer. It's like a way I've heard somebody describe it, and I agree with this perspective. So if I have like a positive energy and I'm excited about it, that's going to be more contagious. So the content's going to be more engaging. But if I have like an idea now and I don't act on that idea or make content about it till like 2 weeks from now, I'm probably not going to be as excited. So it's not going to be as as interesting for the audience to see. So I try to like create it like in the moment.
I like that.
And I did have a question. So, being on social media sometimes could get overwhelming. Do you have something that you like when you feel overwhelmed that you do? Like, I'm sure you're doing video edits, you're researching, you're doing a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, just exercise is awesome. Prayer, right? In those moments, like, man, because I mean, being a business owner is stressful. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of things that go into it, and there's some moments where, like, man, this is not looking good right now. You know what I mean? And so I think, like, for me, like, I'm a religious person. I have faith in God to, like, all right, you got this. And then reminding yourself also, like, perspective of, like, how big the world is and the universe is, and, like, we're just, like, these little people on this one planet. Like, the things that are happening are usually not as important as we try to make them. So I think sometimes when I am feeling stressed and overwhelmed, I just kind of, like, try to remind myself of that. Like, take a deep breath, gain perspective. Like, all right, like, whatever's in front of me, like, I'll figure it out. And if this doesn't work out perfect and I fail, like, that's not that big of a deal either.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think it's important to have that because I think if you're taking everything so serious and you feel like if you fail, it's going to be the end, like, it's impossible to act. You're frozen. Like, I'm not even going to try that because what if I fail? But if you get comfortable with the fact that this might not work out perfect, but I'm still going to have a way forward, like, that's a powerful place to be.
That's a good way of looking at it. I think that's just kind of centering back to who you are. Because a lot of times, like you mentioned, I mean, you're just so focused on something that you could get sucked in, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the world has been here for years. People have been here and died. You know, I mean,
For
there
sure.
have been written books about everything. So, like, at the end of the day, what you're going through, someone already went through. It's not the end of the world. Just recenter back, and you're good.
100%.
You know,
100%.
so that's a good way. You know,
Let's
to explain
go.
it.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, for real. Let's go. Cheers to that. Damn, you haven't even opened your beer.
I know
dude.
this guy was. the
Well,
one
now I
peer-
feel weird
He was
because he's
peer
not
pressuring
drinking,
you,
so I
and then he's
don't-
not even
I
drinking.
know.
I don't even want to drink anymore.
I was good with my non-alcoholic beer.
What's
So you
your
called me out.
favorite? What's your favorite What's like the best?
I
option?
actually don't drink lager.
Oh, you actually don't? That was a joke.
No. The one I had, it was non-alcoholic
Oh.
because someone brought a 24 pack of non-alcoholic beer because they don't
Okay.
drink, which is fine.
Yeah. Like, why are you bringing 24 of them? That's a lot of non-alcoholic beer.
That was me. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Just put it on the table like, let's go.
I was like, okay.
Tonight's the night, fellas. Let's go.
I was just really thirsty. I'm like, I don't want water, man. I drink a lot of water at the indoor. You know, I'm like, I'm trying to drink water. I want something that just, you know.
This is the
different,
first
yeah.
time I hear someone say I was really thirsty. It was hot, but I did not want water, so I got a non-alcoholic Budweiser.
Yeah, I just wanted
Mix
to warm
it up
up.
a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't get it.
Okay, yeah. I don't get it myself, but nah, yeah, dude, open it.
It was there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
See,
Last one.
see, guys, peer pressure. I was trying not to drink today. No,
Nah, dude, don't drink. I'm just
See,
joking, dude.
peer pressure
No, I feel-
works.
I feel bad now.
you should feel bad. You should feel bad.
It's all downhill
Uh,
from here.
what was one of your favorite things doing in Salem growing up? Is there something that isn't in Salem anymore that you're like, I wish this
Not
this could come
really.
back"?
A lot of people say Skate Palace, but I hated Skate Palace.
Really?
I can't skate. I went there once. I just assumed I could skate, but
Was that
I
ice skating or
couldn't.
roller?
It was
blades?
roller
It
skates.
was roller skates.
Yeah.
Did you ever go there?
Yeah, once.
Once?
Well, it was a field trip actually.
Was Scott School?
No.
Oh, you were there. I went there for Scott School had like a fundraiser or something, and we went, and I just like, man, I was just like falling the entire time. And this is like the worst thing ever, so I never went back.
Dude, you guys took all the funding away because they only took me to the freaking pumpkin
Yeah,
patch.
yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, the skate palace. Last time we had our last guest, and we were talking about. Do you remember Lancaster Mall?
Yeah.
Ooh,
They
this is
had
good.
a fountain, like a water fountain. Like
Lancaster Mall. I
Yes.
don't remember that.
Yeah,
Don't
it was
remember?
in front of Sears.
Really?
no, not in front of
They had it in
Sears.
front of Sears too, where you'd be able to throw quarters in there, or
No, it was
pennies
like
in there too.
down-
Lancaster Mall?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
in front of where the Burlington is. I don't remember what Burlington was actually before Burlington. Do you?
No, it's
It was
always in
Sears.
Burlington.
no,
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 Sears
no,
was on the
Sears
other
was
side.
in front of it.
Okay.
Bro, come on now. That wasn't even that long ago, and you don't remember where Sears was?
Maybe it was new. I'm thinking like Lancaster. Like, but wait, I'm old. You know what I mean?
That's
so I
what
was there
we're-
like in the '80s, like early '90s.
So
I think I don't.
I'm thinking Lancaster. I think before they remodeled, you know how they remodeled like the
Yeah.
kind of like the front. They had a fountain there, and people would throw coins.
Okay.
It was by Macy's.
Okay.
Kind of like, the ramp.
Yeah.
I don't even think they had a ramp back then. It was just all like the steps.
It was before they believed in handicap
No,
accessibility.
y'all gotta figure it out.
I
Y'all
don't
on your
know.
own.
That's one thing, and then the other because do you remember Anchor Blue? You don't remember Lancaster Mall Anchor Blue?
What was that? I think we're like different time. I feel like there's like a time period I remember like 80s, and there's like this other time period.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Fountain probably was there because like that seems like a very like 80s, 70s things to have. But
Okay.
I remember Anchor Blue a little bit, but I saw
It was right. It was Lancaster Mall.
like by Foot Locker. Was it like right in that area?
So Verizon was there, like the kiosk, and
Okay.
Journeys. Anchor Blue was right across.
Okay, yeah, okay,
I mean, they went bankrupt, but I mean,
yeah.
that was old school.
Did
At
you
least for
work
me,
there?
no. For me, that's old school. We were just talking about that last time.
Okay.
Here's another one. We're gonna keep asking people until someone settles this for us.
Okay.
Do you remember the koi fish pond inside the Woodburn outlets? Jesus Christ, man!
Man, I think this
Do
is.
you remember it? You guys
No,
both
I don't
it?
remember it. I don't.
John's
know what
from
you're talking-
Texas, so I
Where
can't
would it-
even ask John.
Where was it?
It was in the very back, in that like alley.
Yeah.
It was kind of like in front of like the Oshkosh and the
Okay.
like the baby clothes
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, they had some big old koi fish there.
Interesting.
I don't remember any of that, dude.
Dude, we
the
need to
koi
do a
fish.
story on this, dude. What's happening in Salem needs to ask Salem who freaking remembers.
That would be a good one. Give me my phone. I'll like ask the thing. Like, hey, do you remember the fountain at Lancaster Mall?
There was fountain.
Do you have
Lancaster-
photo proof? Do you have photo proof?
I tried looking for it. I couldn't
Yeah.
find it. Then the koi fish. I don't remember, dude.
What's
It-
that called? Like the Bernstein Bears theory, where you like remember something different than it actually was.
Bro, you're talking to ESL kids, dude. We're the wrong people to ask that.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, dude.
We appreciate the confidence in us, though.
Hey, we're on a podcast right now, and we are trying to remember. Well, they're saying it existed. I'm trying to remember though. Was there ever a fountain by Lancaster Mall? And do you have a photo?
No,
We wanna see the
inside
photo.
Lancaster Mall.
Inside a Lancaster
Inside the
Mall.
Lancaster Mall.
All right. If you have a photo, let us know.
Dude, that's
Dude, no one's gonna have a photo. There was no smartphones back
never
then,
know,
dude.
bro.
you never know. That's the
never
truth, though.
know.
That's true. You never know.
Watch
And also
Willamette
maybe
Town
it
Center
didn't
hit us up.
exist. I know.
There was another question.
No koi
There,
fishing.
there's another one that said if you remember, if you're from Salem, what? It's been here before. There's been a lot of things around here, no? I can't remember.
Not really.
I
That's
can't
about
remember.
it.
Not a lot of. Oh, do you remember going? Did you ever go to the Brick? That's kind of recent. That's
Yeah.
kind of recent, but
Definitely, yeah. The Brick was a staple downtown.
right?
That nightlife I want to do a podcast actually about like 2000s, like 2010 nightlife in Salem because we had like 3 nightclubs. We had the Brick. Like there were like a lot of things happening. There were promoters that were getting things like popping on like a Wednesday and Tuesday night. And I think Mikey's is doing a pretty good job now and like
yeah.
Side Hustle of like bringing some of that energy back, which is a lot of fun. But there was a pretty cool moment where like there was a lot of like nightlife activity happening in Salem. It felt like, and then like I think a couple of the promoters moved out of town, and so it kind of fizzled out a little bit. But I think that'd be a fun to like revisit moment in Salem's history for the podcast.
Did you ever go to the 21 and over club downtown? That's across the street of Kraftwerks.
Like they had Moonbakers,
I think
and then
that's
there
what
was
it's
like
called.
a 6 Ultra Lounge. Those I think the same space like had both of those
Oh, okay.
names.
I never, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely went there.
Because I remember I would go. There was an 18 and over club at the Liberty Plaza, or what
Okay.
it used to be Liberty
Yeah,
Plaza.
yeah, downstairs.
Downstairs.
That's right.
There was two different type of clubs or ownerships at the time.
Yep.
And I remember just looking at the street like, oh, 21. You know, when you're
Yeah.
young, like, oh yeah, 21.
Something
you know?
to do, right?
Yeah.
That's like I think that's a gap right now. It's like 18 to 21-year-old. Like, what are they going to do in Salem? I think if
Yeah.
you came up with something fun, you probably have a lot of people interested. But it's tough. You can't sell liquor. You know what I mean? Like, that's something to make money. That's where like a lot of the money's at.
True. Dude, why are you looking at me like that?
I know.
You're like, you're trying to crack a joke. What do you got?
I ain't got nothing.
I thought it was like an inside joke. I missed.
No,
out.
I was like,
Oh,
what do
okay.
you?
No, I don't know.
I don't, nah. You didn't go out when you were like 18 or anything?
No, dude, that was all before my time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That was all before my time.
Yeah, that's true. He's a 2000 kid.
There were like house parties. I felt like
I don't know. I mean,
that's what not when I was 18 to 21. I felt like that's what I was doing.
that's what I did too. Did you
Yeah.
do that or no?
House parties? Not really.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
Didn't let you out, your mom? No.
No, I would go out, but We get into other shenanigan things. Yeah, no, house parties never.
Huh?
I don't want to say it. Next question.
Hey,
I got flashbacks.
is that beer affecting you, dude? 'Cause
Yeah, I'm
you-
already.
You took
The Red Bull kicked in.
You took a sip and you're like speechless.
No, I got flashbacks.
Okay.
I do remember.
All right, let's move on.
One time,
let's move on.
One time, I think I was a freshman in high school, and I snuck out. I snuck out of the house, jumped out the window, and I left the window a crack open so I could jump back in. And I had a buddy pick me up, and back then I lived in Almsville, and this guy, dude, he was 16. He was driving his mom's car. We were on Highway 22. I don't know if you're very familiar with that highway, but there's usually a cop there like all night.
Yeah.
And this guy started driving like over 100 miles an hour trying to go to the house party. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then I was like, yeah, dude, I'm never getting in the car with you again. But yeah, that was the last house party I went to. And I was like, yeah, I'll stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Good
I never
choice.
drank again until I
Yeah.
met this guy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bad influences.
Don't get
Bad
in trouble,
influence.
You guys
dude.
should change the name of the podcast to the Bad Influence
Bad
Podcast.
Influence.
The Bad
Yeah,
Influence.
the Bad Influencers.
You know, a lot of people would probably agree with that.
You just like try to talk your guests into making bad decisions. That'd be an interesting podcast.
That would be interesting. Damn.
Yeah, this guy's a bully, man.
Actually?
Yeah, actually.
Dang.
The biggest bully in Salem.
What's like? What do you like about bullying? Like what? Like
Tell us how it makes you feel.
yeah.
I'm not a bully.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, maybe to him, man.
I thought this was an interesting question. If you could make a story on a specific business or a specific person from Salem that you haven't done yet, who would it be?
A story. I think I want to do more recognizing individuals. Yeah, like people that are making an impact and maybe are kind of under the radar, don't have the exposure that they are getting because I believe that the things that are recognized are repeated, right? So we try to do it, like highlight a lot of the exciting things that are happening. But I feel like we can do a better job of just like individuals. So we did like the award show recently, the Connectors, which was awesome. We did it at the Grand, and had a really good turnout. 200 people show up for the first event, which is I'm excited for that. But I think we could do more of that on our social media platform for sure.
Heck yeah. Anyone come to mind?
There's a Jennifer Harmony. She runs Salem Soup Squad, which is a nonprofit that just like feeds people. Excuse me, and they don't have any like big funders behind it. It's just like them recruiting people to like pay for meals at a time, which is a lot of work. Because if you can find one sponsor to like donate $5,000, like fee, like support this program for like a month or whatever, I'm just making that number up. That is a lot easier than finding like $510 sponsors. You know what I mean? But they really are a grassroots organization that are finding people to donate meals, donate their time. And so I think like that type of person that's just taking the initiative and getting things started is really where I'd want to focus highlighting. I think there are a lot of things that will highlight people that have kind of been around and been making an impact for a while, which is awesome. We need those as well. But I think we can also have this extra layer for people who are just getting started to encourage them to keep going.
I like that.
Put some wind in those sails, you know? Give people their flowers.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go.
We can't be all out here bullying people all the time, bro. We gotta make sure we got some
Well, I mean, if it
positive
makes you
energy.
happy, man.
Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy. Man.
Whatever makes you happy, John.
You want to be a bully? Be a bully.
Yeah.
Salem's biggest bully.
John,
We'll make
am I a
story on
bully?
you.
I don't have a mic. I can't.
I was gonna ask you something.
For me?
Why don't you,
No.
you don't have an iPad? You don't bring it? This one? That's not your role. That's his role.
That's his role.
It's nice. Yeah, he's got roles on the podcast.
He just rolls out of bed and shows up, man.
Do you actually have questions on there, or is it just like a blank screen? It's like,
It's just a blank screen, guys. Just pretending I'm
yeah,
someone over
for
here.
sure. He's just like looking at MySpace right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to log in over here.
Sure.
I asked you the story. My bad, dude.
It's all good. Doing something I'm terrible at is when I'm on a podcast and like my phone will buzz and like in the middle of the podcast I'll be like looking to see what's happening. And then I'll watch the video and my eyes are just like down the screen. I'm like, fuck, what a dick. This person's like on my podcast, like making time for it. And I'm just like, can't
Yeah,
stay
I get
stay
you.
focused for an
Yeah.
hour.
It happens sometimes.
That's him, but his wife just blows them up.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, he's with Alan? Or what are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
me.
these up to
Yeah.
these shenanigans out here.
That's why you started the podcast.
and
Huh?
you-
So you got proof. Like, no, there's a video. This is where I was.
You call me the bully?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah,
Damn.
dude. Yeah, this is where I was. As a matter of fact, hey, I'm gonna be home late. Yeah.
So Cinnabar under that name is closing, but there's a new owner operator that's going to come in and sounds like spend a decent amount of money and just updating it. So I'm pretty excited to see that happen. And it sounds like there was like a plan to communicate all of this, and then one of the employees for Cinnabar just went on Facebook and announced that the place was closing, and so everybody kind of like ran with that story, myself included. But then I found out later, like, all right, there's some cool plans for it.
Damn.
So it's the same owners for Salem Center Mall. They own Macy's, that building, but they also own the Cinnabar as well. And so the building owner will be the same, but the business owner operating in that space will be a new one. Yeah. It should be fun. I'm excited for it.
What's the goal with what's happening in Salem? Like, you're gonna take over the Statesman Journal and just kind of kill them, and then just start killing us?
No, I think like I love that we have like Salem Reporter in town. Like, they do a really good job reporting on things that are happening in Salem. I've been a paid subscriber of theirs for a long time. I think some of the nationally owned like local news organizations are just in a tough spot because like budgets keep getting cut, people keep getting laid off. They have less local news available because they have less people that are locally. They do a lot of just like national headlines kind of to fill space. But I think for what's happening in Salem, we're just going to keep trying to listen to like what's interesting for the people of Salem, finding ways to highlight things that are happening here that are unique, that are exciting. I think right now we're in a good spot where like we have the attention of the city, and I think the next step is like how do we make content that's interesting enough that people that aren't in Salem are interested in it, and so they become invested in the story of Salem. So I think like a big pie in the sky vision, it's that of like making content and like people from like wherever are interested in it. And it's happening in some levels right now. Like people will tell me like, hey, somebody drove down from Washington to visit our space because they said they saw a post on your page. Like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So I think kind of figuring out like how do we keep people involved in the story of Salem. And I have friends that live in California that are like, I know more about Salem than I do my own city because I follow your page. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That's very cool. We're past the hour now, so I don't know if you have any last questions. Other than that, I think if you had anything that you want to talk about or highlight.
No, I appreciate it. I just want to
Yeah.
encourage you two to keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
man, and like having fun with it, highlighting people and telling cool stories. I think just it's we're in a fun place where like you can just create your own media company, and like
Yeah.
it's so much easier. Like you don't need crazy amount of equipment. You know what I mean? Kind of do it pretty grassroots, and it's just awesome that we're in a place you can just get things started. And I think it's awesome you two are making it happen and staying consistent with it. So, well done.
You said you had an event not that long ago.
Yeah.
Are there going to be more of those events?
Yeah, I want to do 2 a year. So we recognize 3 people, and I think if we did that each time, like 2 a year is pretty sustainable. I'm also working on a monthly series that'll be more on just like keeping people in the loop. I want to do more in-person events for sure, and just like figure out what's gonna like work for Salem. What are people gonna be interested in? They don't always have to be 100-person event. Some can be 12, some can be 50, but just finding lots of ways to get people in, getting people in a room together. But I think the Connectors Award Show will be kind of one of our flagship events for sure.
Nice. Hell yeah. Where can people find you?
What's Happening in Salem, Instagram, our newsletter as well, what'shappeningsalem.com, our podcast, all of it. Yeah, appreciate this. It was great. Thank you, guys.
You have a Twitter?
I do Mr. Jacob Espy on Twitter. Twitter kind of is not what it used to be.
I don't have a
That was
Twitter.
like my favorite platform for a while. Now it's just kind of a different space. But I do have Twitter, Mr. Jacob Espy.
There we go.
You guys got it, man.
Scott School, we out here. We made it.
Eagles.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Eagles, not him. There we go.
Damn.